Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Web3 Quick Bite podcast. I'm your host, Olabisi, and today I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by Sueksh, an esteemed leader and innovator in the blockchain space. Sueksh serves as the CEO and founder of Cryptos, a pioneering Web3 finance company that empowers crypto investors with solutions for portfolio tracking, tax compliance, and accounting needs. With backing from major industry players like Binance and Gate.io, Cryptos is quickly becoming a go-to platform for simplifying cryptocurrency taxes. And in addition to his work with Cryptos, Sueksh is a founding council member of Chillers of Chain, made tremendous contributions to Tella's growth, now a market cap over $300 million. Sueksh is widely respected as an expert in blockchain technologies, crypto taxation, and layer 1 protocols. Today, we'll be tapping into his immense knowledge of the Web3 space, talking about the growth of DeFi, navigating crypto taxes, and the future of blockchain, and so much more. I can't wait for you all to gain insights from Sueksh's experiences. Great to have you on the show today. And how are things going over at Cryptos?
Yeah, thanks for having me, and super excited to be here. And thanks for the opportunity as well. And things at Cryptos are awesome. We just finished our physical gathering after a long time, and we had a great team activity and event, and we're all super pumped going into the new year to basically disrupt the crypto finance in the space.
All right, awesome. But before we get right into today's conversation, you have an extensive background in the crypto and blockchain space. Can you walk us through your personal journey and what initially sparked your interest in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. My journey kind of started back in 2017, 2016, 2017 time. And I first got to know about blockchain through Facebook, to be honest with you. I was just looking at some blockchain.com ads or something, and that kind of caught my attention. Coming from a tech background, about talking about decentralization and distributed technology, kind of really looked me into that. And also, for the first 1 year or so, I was mainly excited about the airdrops and ICOs and all that craze. But soon after, I got into getting more involved with the blockchains itself and understanding the technology and trying to contribute to the blockchain ecosystem. And that kind of kickstarted my blockchain journey. And within 1 year, I started working full time in the blockchain space and worked at Volvo Cars as a blockchain innovation consultant under the vice president team at Volvo Cars, so which was an awesome opportunity I had. And then I also co-founded and started Swedish Blockchain Association because the time back in 2017 in Sweden, the blockchain community was super small. So we started like pioneering and educating people and sharing what we learned about blockchain and the exciting things happening in the space. So that kind of kickstarted my whole journey, and then with Telos and everything, and now with Cryptos, basically.
All right, awesome. That's quite an interesting journey. It was great learning about your journey. But as the CEO of Cryptos, what originally inspired you to create a platform to help with cryptocurrency taxes and reporting? I mean, you must have seen a need in the market. So what need did you see in the market?
To be honest, being in the space for 6 years and living in Sweden, one of the highest taxes in anywhere in the world, right? So, the biggest challenge for me in the crypto ecosystem, even though like many of my projects were successful, is to comply with the regulations and taxes, right? Because every one of us wants to comply with the regulations. It's just super hard because the lack of clarity in the regulations, the lack of tools, and even the lack of understanding of the new crypto space for professionals and accountants, right? So this was the biggest challenge I had. And after doing a lot of research in the market and just trying to help my own companies and myself, we started building a simple tool which helps to do our own taxes And that kind of evolved into this bigger need because I've been hearing and getting a lot of requests from friends and colleagues in different projects. They wanted to use the software. They want to get help on the same as well. So that's kind of kickstarted our journey, and we started bootstrapping the company and building the product slowly. And over the last 2 to 3 years, we launched multiple versions of the applications, and now the product is much more matured, and we see the need for taxations and the portfolio management is evolving significantly. And this would be the next big thing in crypto, especially you have these exchanges for finance, and you have wallets for managing your assets, and aggregating all of that data to manage your personal finances and your company's finances and be compliant with the regulations. And that's where we fit in. We are that third layer, which kind of aggregates everything in the crypto space and makes it simplified experience.
Oh wow! Because I think talking to you was the first time I actually learned that what you guys are doing about cryptos is like the first time I've ever seen or heard of something about in the blockchain industry. And I mean, it must feel so, how would I, it must all feel so different, like a new market. How have you been able to navigate it, seeing that, I don't know if I should say you're like the pioneer in crypto taxes? How does it feel?
I mean, it's pretty challenging. Like, people might think the taxes should be pretty straightforward and simple, right? Like, it's just math. But especially dealing with crypto taxes is just like the complexity increases by 10x or 100x because uh, the innovation is happening at a rapid pace in this industry, and just keeping up with that, even for ourselves, who is involved pretty much every single day, is hard. Imagine that for like a professional accountant who doesn't deal with all of this crazy stuff like DeFi, NFTs, and everything. So yeah, it's just super challenging to build some applications as well because yeah, we are the first ones to build. There is no set standards in the industry, so we have to basically adjust all the features and services to comply with the third-party applications like exchanges and APIs, blockchain. So um, yeah, I mean, like it's exciting, but also it's pretty challenging, I would say.
Yeah. Keying up challenges. As someone involved early on, what would you say are the biggest challenges you've seen or biggest changes you've seen in the industry over time? And how has the space evolved from your initial exposure?
Do you mean specifically talking about crypto taxes, or do you mean like crypto in general
I
overall?
mean, in the industry over time, what changes, what challenges have you seen that's evolved over time in the industry?
I think the direction that we are moving right now over the last couple of years is towards more regulation and validation by traditional institutions, right? Which is really necessary if crypto wants to go from where we are today to like 100x from now. Because yeah, there's still a lot of people out there who are still afraid to get into crypto because of all the negativity surrounding it. And the more compliance and the more regulations comes into the space, it just makes the whole process easier and compliant. And we'll try to reduce the number of bad actors in the space as well. So, which is quite good in my opinion. And I think personally, I believe we are moving in the right direction. I know regulations are not always good, might hamper the industry, but I think at the end of the day, we will find the um, middle ground between the regulations and innovation. And I think the overall industry would benefit at the end of the day.
I think all that is left for us now is to hope that in the coming years, everything gets better, gets more easier. All right. So DeFi, of course, has exploded over recent years. But in your opinion, what are some of the most exciting innovations happening in decentralized finance right now?
Oh man, I think a ton of different things. I think especially the things related to innovations around the real world assets, bringing those on chain and facilitating DeFi capabilities for that. I think that's going to be super exciting thing in the coming months and years to follow. Um, and also the innovation surrounding the liquidity efficiency as well, which is quite good because the traditional Uniswap V2 that everyone know is quite inefficient when in terms of managing your liquidity. But I think nowadays we're seeing more and more protocols optimizing the efficiency and helping, reduce the slippage and everything. So, which is quite good in the industry. I think one area I would love to see more growth and innovation is the surrounding the risk analysis of different DeFi and the tool set surrounding that. And I think that's slowly growing, but I would love to see more happening there because a lot of people that's participating in DeFi still doesn't know the full risks, even the developers sometimes themselves. So would love to see simpler tools which can automate and analyze these things and help users.
Great. Still on the DeFi topic, what do you think is still misunderstood or feared about DeFi and crypto more broadly? And what should people new to the space know?
I think there's still a lot of misconceptions, right? Like when people talk about crypto and DeFi, it's often related to scams and drug dealers of some sort. So I think the biggest thing that needs to happen is a lot more education. And with the new Bitcoin ETFs and everything that's being talked about right now in the market, I think that's going to change because the more capital comes into the space and the more marketing happens, I think the whole narrative is going to change, and also a lot of education will happen to the users as well.
Okay, now let's move to mainstream adoption. You mentioned something about education, and I believe that the more we educate people about these things, the more we get more mainstream adoption. So brings me to my next question. What will it take for DeFi and blockchain to cross over into the financial mainstream? And how far along are we on that path?
I think we are just getting started with the real world assets, the protocols that are launching real world assets into the blockchains and DeFi ecosystems. I think it's just the beginning, I would say. I think over the next 3 to 5 years is when we will see a lot more activity happening here. And that's when I think we will get the mainstream adoption. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm also of the opinion that in the next couple of years we'll get more people into this space. We'll get more people into this space, and then we'll have so much people that we do currently now in the blockchain and Web3 space. So let's talk about regulation. How have you seen oversight of crypto finance change over the years, and where is there room for improvement?
I think the regulation is moving in a good direction right now, especially if you look at like EU. Just this year, last year, basically, MiCA regulation has passed, which mandates and simplifies the registration of crypto service providers like exchanges and token issuers, crypto token issuers, basically. So there's a set regulation across all of Europe right now. So if you want to issue a token, you follow these processes. If you want to register an exchange, you follow these processes and reporting guidelines. Which just improves the overall experience for users and also help users to not fall for shady exchanges and scams out there in the market. And also the US as well. It's a bit slow in the US comparatively, but I think they're also coming up with some regulations which kind of simplifies the overall registration process and overall compliance systems, I would say. Talking about the overall crypto finance in general, there are also new regulations, especially from a tax perspective, that are going live in the next 1 to 2 years in Europe, in India, and also South Korea, Japan, and US as well, which basically means that all the exchanges will start reporting on their users. So if you're trading on Binance or Coinbase or Bitstamps of the world, right? Like they are mandated to report on their users and collect personal information. So if you as an individual trader or crypto investor is not reporting your taxes, then the government will know and the tax authorities will know that you're not following the reporting, and you will be fined or you will get notifications from the tax authorities. So I think there are still a ton of room for improvement because the regulations are slow to get into approval process and everything. But by the time that these regulations go live, the crypto industry is like probably 5 years ahead, right? So the regulations have to catch up fast and innovate fast, and do not hamper the innovation as well at the same time. So, but I think it's improving.
Yeah. So let's talk about the great work you're doing at Cryptos. So at Cryptos, you are focused on simplifying cryptocurrency taxes and portfolio management. And so what key problems have you aimed to solve with the Cryptos platform when it comes to crypto taxes and reporting?
Absolutely. I think this is a great question, right? Because people doesn't understand the complexity of doing it unless they actually do it. So let me quickly walk through like what would you do without a platform like Cryptos, right? So if you don't have a platform like Cryptos today, you probably, if you have used like exchanges like Binance or Coinbase or maybe some Ethereum blockchain or Bitcoin blockchain, right? So you go to a blockchain explorer, you try to download the transaction history into a CSV file or Excel file, and you go to an exchange, you download your transaction histories there. And then you have to basically aggregate all of this data into one document. And then you have to order all the transactions according to the date and time. And then you have to basically map everything and you have to do all your calculations. You have to identify the historical price of Bitcoin or whatever the tokens that you have traded. And then after doing all of this, you still have to do the cost basis calculations according to your local jurisdictions. And sometimes DeFi transactions are treated differently. So you have to know you have to have the knowledge of the tax regulations and everything. So it's a huge complex process. And there's like more than 10 steps involved from end to end. And it can take anywhere from a couple of days to weeks or months as well if you have a huge amount of transactions. But with Cryptos, all you have to do is basically sign in our platform, enter your email password, and then select which country you're coming from, and then start adding your wallets and exchanges simply. So we provide the support for CSV files, API key secret, or you just enter the public address of your wallets. So say you have an Ethereum account, you have a public key, right? So you just enter the public key on our system, and our system will do the rest of the data fetching and data organization, and then identifying the historical prices and organizing them, doing the math and calculations, that. And then we generate the report as well for you. So we basically automate the whole process involved and reduce the time it takes from weeks and months to less than a day or minutes as well. If your portfolio is simple, it can take like 5 minutes to get your tax report. But if you do it yourself, it can probably take you a day or two to do your own taxes. So that's what we do. We just simplify the overall management of your assets and crypto finances in general. So yeah.
All right. So you just answered two questions in one because that was going to be my second question. That how does Cryptos help streamline tax accounting and compliance for crypto users? But you already answered it. So I think what I'll ask now is that are there any innovative aspects that differentiates the Cryptos approach?
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, there are a lot of innovations that we made along the way. A couple of things that I would highlight is compared to other platforms out there in the market versus ours. So what we do is we mainly focused on the user experience, right? So how can we reduce the time it takes from onboarding to the platform to generating a report? So say you have interacted with a lot of layer ones, layer twos like Ethereum, Arbitrum, Avalanche, and all these different protocols. But if you're using like MetaMask, right? So you always have the same public key across all these chains. If you go to another platform, you today have to create 10 different wallets for each of these chains because you have interacted with them. So what we do in our platform, you just select Ethereum, you just copy paste your public key and enter in our system. We automatically detect which other chains you have interacted with and show them to you so that you can automatically click one button and import all the transactions from 10 or 15 chains that you have interacted with. So that just simplifies the overall experience and reduces the amount of time it takes from a couple of hours to like within seconds. So that's one of the innovations that we did. And we also have a lot of other innovations like AI integration with your portfolio. So what we did is you can communicate with your portfolio and ask questions. So say you want to get that same experience as talking with ChatGPT, right? So you can chat with our ChatGPT solution, and you can ask like, okay, what's my tax liability? What are the steps to file my taxes? So yeah, we provide a much more communicative experience, and we also have analytics visualizations as well. So once you import all your accounts and transactions into our system, you can get a beautiful visualization of your portfolio and crypto journey from day one to what are all the platforms that you have interacted with and how does your portfolio evolved over the last couple of years. So you can see and get all those insights as well. And with our mobile app, you can stay up to date with how your portfolio is growing and where your assets are located. So, okay, if I say I have $1,000 in this DeFi protocol and $100 sitting on Binance and $10 in Coinbase account, usually people forget, right? So with our mobile app, you can stay up to date where your assets are, what's the current balance, and what's the dollar value or your local currency value of that asset, and how much taxes do you have to pay at the end of the year as well. So we do all of that and provide it for you through our platform.
Oh, wow. I was actually going to ask if there was a mobile app, but I think my question now will be because you answered a lot of questions. So my question will be the mobile app, it's on both Play Store and Apple Store, right?
Yeah, we're releasing a new version, which is going to go live in the next 2 weeks. And that should be available both on the Play Store and App Store.
Oh, again, so if you are listening to this, Sueksh gave a detailed walkthrough of how the app works, how the platform works. So, and in the next 2 weeks, there will be a new version for you guys to try out. So if you are as excited as I am right now with cryptos and the amazing work they are doing over there, just pick up your phone and then as you're listening to this podcast, just go download the app and then see for yourself. I mean, it's one thing to listen to him talk about it. It's one thing for you to see for yourself. So, yeah. So, my next question, I'm sure you haven't answered this. So, it will be, are there any key tax principles or structures people should understand when dealing with cryptocurrencies? And as someone who has dealt with cryptocurrencies, I mean, for a very long time, what mistakes do you see?
I think one of the common misconceptions of people when interacting with cryptocurrencies is that they don't have to pay taxes unless they convert to fiat, which is pretty wrong across many of the jurisdictions out there. Unless you live in countries like Portugal or France, the rest of the countries you have to pay tax even if you convert from one cryptocurrency like Bitcoin to Ethereum or Ethereum to Arbitrum and vice versa. So just remember that, because this is so fundamental that many people think that you don't have to pay taxes if you are only interacting with cryptocurrencies. And then the other principle I would say, which is fundamental, is that you mainly pay taxes when you are, of course, converting from one cryptocurrency to another cryptocurrency. But it's mainly when you're selling or when you're disposing your assets. That's when you have to pay taxes. Um, and the third key principle I would say is if you're receiving a lot of free airdrops and rewards, like staking rewards and things like that, you have to pay income taxes on top of that as well. So just be careful of that, because I know in the last 1 month or so, a lot of people got rich because of the Solana airdrops and everything. So if you are one of those members, then yeah, please make sure you have some assets saved for paying your taxes as well. Yeah, I think these cover like top three principles, I would say. And also just remember, NFTs are also taxable. So if you're purchasing an NFT, yeah, just make sure whenever you're selling, you have the cost basis information and everything, so that yeah, NFTs are also taxable as well.
Okay, now I am curious. I am super curious. I had no idea that for people who who earn from airdrops or state rewards, they have to pay income tax. I think they shed more light on that. I haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying these things, but uh, unfortunately, that's the reality of the regulations out there across many jurisdictions today. So if you're in the UK or US or many countries in Europe, yeah, these are the same regulations everywhere. So you have to pay income taxes on the rewards and free airdrops that you're receiving, and you have to pay capital gains taxes whenever you are selling these tokens and assets, basically.
Oh wow. Oh, this is. I'm going to read more on this after this conversation because, wow. Okay. Anyway, uh, so how can platforms and protocols? I know Cryptos is already doing an amazing job of helping people simplify taxes and then the accounting effort. But how do you think platforms and protocols be? How can they be designed to simplify tax and compliance processes for users? And what particular improvements still need to happen?
I think this is such an important question, because this is a challenge that we go through every day, because we have so many protocols and exchanges that we interact with. Every exchange today is designed uniquely, and they have their own systems and protocols and APIs and everything. There is no set standard in the industry today, which makes our life super difficult, because we have to make sure that all these exchange integrations and APIs and everything is up and running. And basically updating, like whenever Binance updates their APIs, we also have to update our APIs and our integration. So imagine doing that for like hundreds and thousands of integrations. That's just madness, right? So we need a set standards, I would say, which simplifies the process of being in compliance with the regulation. So what I mean by that is if I go to Binance, there should be a simple solution which can help integrate all the data or export all the data to third-party platforms like ours. Because if not, we have to do thousands of requests to Binance APIs, and you have to give us the API key and secret, and then we have to go and fetch the data, which is a lot of steps involved. And some exchanges do this really well, like Coinbase or Bitstamp or Uphold, right? So our Kraken as well, which is really good, because they just give us one API. We can just fetch all the data from that. Or like if you're using like Coinbase, you can just use sign in with Coinbase or sign in with Bitstamp, and then we get all the data automatically once you give us the permission. So I think we just need that simplified user experience, so that people feel much more easy to be compliant with the regulation. So I think more and more blockchain explorers, more and more exchanges have to focus on this. And one thing we are gonna do this year we're gonna release a white paper standard, basically trying to highlight the issues in the industry and set a data standard, right? So that all the exchanges can comply with that data standard if they want to, and we will make it open source and everything, so people can easily comply and add integrations easily as well.
Yeah, awesome. So I quite agree on simplifying processes because I think one thing that has chased most people from Web3 is the complexity. Because you talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, the apps are too complex for me. I don't understand how it works. It's too difficult for me and things like that. But I agree that in the coming years, hopefully we would have simplified the process for even newbies to be able to come on board. So let's step into the future. What excites you most about the future of decentralized blockchain-based finance systems over the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I'm super excited about this because I think over the next 5 to 10 years, we will see a ton of innovations, especially combining AI and blockchain finance solutions. I think that's going to revolutionize everything, right? Because blockchain-based finance already removes a lot of middlemen in the system, in the traditional finance. And combining that with AI and the optimizations that AI is bringing these days, I think that's just going to revolutionize the whole industry. And that's where I'm really focused on, even with cryptos, what we are building. We already started to identify this trend and the requirement of simplification and innovation. So we're gonna mainly focus on how we can bring AI and simplify the overall experience of managing your finances or interacting and growing your finances as well. There are tons of opportunities today in DeFi ecosystems that a lot of people are not aware of. If we can simplify in finding them and personalize that experience through AI, I think that's just going to revolutionize the whole space. And people would be much more comfortable interacting with these different DeFi protocols if they know the ins and outs of that protocol and it's a simplified user experience.
Yeah, I also think AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Soon, AI will be integrated into practically everything, everything that we do, everything we have. I'm also super excited about how AI is going to evolve and then transform and then integrated into nearly almost everything. It's quite an we have exciting years ahead of us, and I can't wait. Honestly, I honestly can't wait. So finally, we want to tap into some of your wisdom. So, what guidance or resources would you recommend for those looking to learn more and get started engaging with Web3 and DeFi?
I mean, yeah, if you have the interest to learn more, there's a ton of resources out there on YouTube and Google out there. But if you are specifically interested learning more about taxes, DeFi, and Web3 finance and everything, then you can go to cryptos.io and you can find our blogs and guides. We post like 10 blogs per week or more. So like check it out. If you want a topic to be covered by us, we are more than happy to do that. Just tag us just tag us at Hello Cryptos on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever, and we will work on putting together that content for you and helping you learn more about Web3 and DeFi.
All right, guys. I'll also be including their social media in the episode description, so you can reach out to them and also read more on the great work they are doing over at Cryptos. And thank you so much, Sueksh, for an insightful and exciting conversation. I had so much fun, especially learning that income taxes on airdrops. I'm going to learn about that. I just have to learn about that. And it was so great learning so much from you. And I'm sure my podcast listeners too. I also had so much fun listening in and learning so much from this episode. And that wraps up today's episode of the Web3 Quick Buy podcast. We hope you enjoyed the discussion. And if you have any feedback or questions, please reach out on social media or send an email at web3quickbytes@gmail.com. Thanks again to our guests for joining us, and thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more exciting content, so be sure to subscribe and tune in. Bye.